bellissimo, fantastico, perfect. I want to put more. Mark's Easy Eats is back with a brand new track. I'm sorry it's taken so long, guys. I've kept you waiting. Being a pharmacist in my day job, we've been a bit overworked right now. New South Wales, the lockdowns have been a bit on the North Korea, the bit of the crazy side of things that are happening. But you know, we're getting through it. Kudos to all the frontline workers who are working and doing their job. Now, today, we are back with a banger. We're gonna make the most famous dish in Egypt, Macarona Bachamel. Now, if you're wondering what Macarona Bachamel is, guess what? It's macaroni and bechamel sauce with ground beef. It is the most amazing meal you'll ever have in your life. I promise you will not regret making this. It is my all-time favorite. Let's get started. Now, Macarona Bachamel, as I said, is the best meal to come out of Egypt. It is a pasta bake. It is incredibly decadent. So make this with caution, do it every now and then, but it is one of those special occasion dishes. We don't have an Egyptian gathering or a family event unless this is present. I'm gonna run you through the ingredients real quick. I've got penne de gata pasta. You know, it's the round stuff with the lines on it, just to make sure that the bechamel sauce does stick on it a bit better. Now, going from this side to this side, cheese, we don't have to use this much. It's good to have more than less. Cheese is the best. We've got cherry tomatoes, the long ones, delicious. Red onions, chopped up about 2 of them. Just finely chopped as good as you can. A few cloves of garlic. I'm always over the top of garlic. 6 or 7 cloves I've got in there, whatever these are called. I've got chopped up parsley, couple tablespoons of tomato paste. I've got chopped tomatoes in here, or diced tomatoes or crushed tomatoes, whatever they are. 400 grams is plenty. Now, moving along in terms of the spices, there is this special spice that the Arabs use. It's called 7 spice. It's a mixture of cinnamon, it's a mixture of ground coriander, different types of peppers. It's very nice. If you can get your hands on it, use it. It goes a long way in this recipe. Some supermarkets have it, definitely Arab shops will have it. If not, we've also got half a teaspoon of nutmeg. Also, we've also got some thickened cream, we've got some butter, we've got some milk, some flour, we've got the oil, salt and pepper. Now, I am lactose intolerant, so I'm doing my best to use lactose-free ingredients. If not, lucky you. It's a great dish either way. Let's get into it. All right, first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna cook off this ground beef. Now, I'm not doing much, I'm just heating this pot up, and I'm just using a little bit of oil, just enough to cover the bottom. Little bit's enough. Now I'm gonna cook 1 kilogram, like I said, of the ground beef. Did I mention that in the last part? I can't remember. If I didn't, 1 kilogram of ground beef, and the reason is I like overdoing things, and half a kilogram just doesn't cut it. Whatever amount to have a bit of meat in it. So what we're gonna do, a lot of recipes you'll find, they cook the onions first, they do all this stuff first, and they go in the ground beef. I'm gonna flip it around this way. I found this works a little bit better. Now, a lot of the time when you get meat and you open up the packaging, it's got a little bit of a strange stench sometimes. We're gonna get rid of that. I'm gonna show you exactly how to do it. So now that this is getting nice and hot, which I think it is, first thing we're gonna do, all we're gonna do is first just oil and meat. That's in there. Now, what I wanna add to this is a lot of pepper and salt only. And the idea behind the pepper, it's gonna get rid of that stench. If there is a stench, this will get rid of it. Give it a crack and see. The other thing I'm gonna do is the salt. And the reason behind the salt is when I come to break this up, the salt does a good job of making it mash up. Now, you can use a wooden spoon, get in there and smash it up. Or, I've been very lucky because I've been given this device. Get in there, give her a good smasheroo, and mix her up. Now, if you're asking what sort of heat this is, I'm going in with a high heat to start with, say medium high. If you find that it's too hot, just turn it down. But you want to get a nice sizzle at the start. Now, once it's starting to break up like so, and you're finding that the color's starting to brown, it means you're doing a good job. Now guys, maybe before you do this or during you're doing this, what I recommend you do is preheat your oven to 170 to 175 degrees Celsius. Now, as it's become this color, we want to add a lot of flavor and nice things. First thing we're going to do, we're going to go into these 2 finely chopped onions. Now, the onions in there. Next thing I'm gonna add, the garlic. I've gone in here with about 7, 8 cloves, whatever. Mate, the more the merrier. All right, guys, now that we have put in the garlic and the onions, there's a little secret here I wanna show you to make this pop, to make it wet, delicious, just heavenly. The secret is butter. I told you, it's a decadent recipe. Trust me on this one, worth it. Now, it doesn't matter how much you put. I'm putting a bit extra because I am using 1 kilogram of meat. Now, looking on this scale, I've used about, what's it say, 50 grams. All right, get that butter in there, mix it around, let it melt. That is gonna add a nice, beautiful gloss. It's gonna look delicious, it's gonna be rich, it's gonna be fantastic. Alrighty, now that the butter has melted, you've mixed it all the way through, it's starting to look nice and shiny and delicious. We're gonna add a couple of things here just to add some proper flavor. Now, we like a bit of tomatoes. These little cans of chopped tomatoes or crushed tomatoes are 200 grams each. I want 400 grams in total. So what I wanna do is get them right in there. So 400 grams are in. Next thing I wanna do is add those almost 2 tablespoons of the tomato sauce, salsa, tomato paste, probably more accurate. Get that in there just for an extra bit of tomatoey flavor. These cherry tomatoes, these long ones, gosh, delicious. Adding a lot of flavor here, guys. Chop them up into halves, get them in there. Now, the sooner you get these in there, I've added them a bit later in the process. If you add them in there earlier, it's good. They get a little bit of a roast, they get a little bit of a blister. Either way, they're sort of gonna melt and blend into this by the time we're done cooking. And like I said, it's gonna add a lot of delicious flavor into it. As I'm mixing that through, the last thing I'm gonna add is these 7 spices that we spoke about before. Again, the heroes here in Egyptian culture being the cinnamon, bit of nutmeg, ground coriander, bit of pepper. Get it in there. I'm adding about a tablespoon's worth. Now for 1 kilogram of meat, I think that's plenty and perfect. We're gonna finish by adding an extra bit of salt and pepper. Separate to the one we did at the start, yes? Just so we can say that it's seasoned. Mix that through. Alrighty, as that's going, as you can see, it's bubbling off here pretty heavily. Turn it down a little bit. Turn the heat down a little bit. Get it down to a simmer. Now, I'm not gonna torch you like I did with the bolognese video and make you wait about, what was it, 4 hours, 3 hours, something crazy like that. This is pretty quick. We're gonna cook this for about half an hour in total, including all the time we're using on the fire. Should be plenty here, guys. It's gonna go again in the oven. The flavors are pretty damn solid too. Give it a taste. Season according to you and your liking. So if it needs more pepper, get in there and put more pepper, more salt, same thing. Now, if you want to put more of those spices if you game, go nuts. We're gonna give it a bit of a taste real quick, see where we're at. I can confirm I burnt the shit out of my tongue. Also, it is delicious. All right, guys, it's been simmering now for, 5 to 10 minutes since I left it. Very important, keep tasting, see what flavors are needed. Now, I've added a whole bunch of salt and pepper just on top. Now, I did say a tablespoon for this. I was being conservative. Again, I'm gonna add a little bit more. I'm probably gonna add another heaped teaspoon or half a tablespoon of this, just so I get the right amount. That's probably how much mixed spice you need. I am doing 1 kilogram, and it is a lot of meat. Now, give this a quick mix in with all the salt and pepper that you would have added. Smell is delicious. Smell is so damn good. All right, guys, I'm coming to the end of cooking this. It's been about 10 minutes on the fire or so, 10, 15 max. Give it one final taste, just to make sure that we are good to go. To me, that is very good. I'm gonna add a little bit more. Guys, let's revise the formula. In total, I have added 2 tablespoons for 1 kilogram of meat. That is all. That is the final result. A little bit more salt and pepper. Looks like this bloody shaker is not releasing anything. It looks like a lot, but it's really not that much. That is a damn good job. All right, we can get that fire off. I'm very content and satisfied with what we're at. Last thing I'm gonna add, I haven't forgotten about this parsley. This is just gonna add a little bit of texture, a little bit of freshness, a little bit of, what do we call it? In Arabic we say dala. In English, I think it's like I'm flirting a little bit with the meat. As you can hear, the recording people here drop their phones because they're so excited about what I'm doing. Get that in there. Once the fire's off, give it a mix around. You will not regret that extra little boost of flavor that this pasta is gonna give. It looks nice. Garnish is always good. It's gonna add that little bit of freshness to it. All right guys, right behind me, the water is boiling. First thing I wanna do, I'm gonna add a tablespoon of salt. I want this water to taste similar to the ocean, just to season that pasta. Oh, that's a lot. Maybe that much. It's done. So tablespoon's in there, water's boiling. We want these al dente. Let's get the pasta on. Pasta's in there. Now my packaging says 10 minutes or 11 minutes. On their words, I'm gonna go 10 and a half minutes. Switch off the fire. Got my colander here ready in the sink. Now we're gonna make the bechamel sauce. First thing you wanna do, get this onto a medium heat. That's what I wanna do, medium heat. Once I figure out how to do that, I think that's it. Now we're gonna go in with a very simple recipe. Whatever amount of butter you put in, give or take, is the same amount of flour we're gonna use. In this case, I've cut up 7 blocks of butter, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Not the biggest blocks, but they're decently sized. I might turn this heat down. We don't want to go crazy with it. Now, once this melts, we need to put 7 tablespoons of flour. All right, now that that's come to a melt, we put 7 cubes, 7 spoons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, we're gonna have 7 spoons in here. Now, if you find this is becoming very sand-like and it's not really gelling together like we want it to, well, very easy. Add more butter. Doesn't matter, it's a one-off. Now we want to mix everything we've done, incorporate the butter and the flour. Remember, a lot of mixing is gonna happen here, guys. This is gonna turn from this yellowish color into this nice golden brown color. Give it a bit of time. This is what makes the difference between a good bechamel and a fucking good bechamel. And that's what we wanna do. You know what? Guys, I'm gonna intensify the flavor. I actually just thought of something. Veggie stock cubes. If you have these at home, you don't necessarily need it 100%. If you have one, this is really gonna add something special, a bit of an X factor to your bechamel. Give it a crack. Break one of these up in there, as best you can. Give it a mix. If you try it, let me know how you go in the comments. I actually think this is gonna be a very nice surprise for you guys. All right, guys, now I've been cooking this a lot more than the average person would, but this dark, deep brown color that's forming is what's gonna make this stuff the stuff of champions. Now, I've cooked off all the flour that's in there. We've got a nice bit of dough. First thing we're gonna do is go in about milk. It's gotta be coldish milk. Now, I've got a liter. I think a liter should be fine. Now, you're not gonna put the whole thing in at once. We're gonna go in increments. I'm not gonna get you to measure because I don't have time to waste. Chuck a little bit in there. Give it a stir. Now, what you're gonna notice happen is, again, it's gonna come back to being a thick paste. We're gonna add some more. There you go. Now, if I had to get you a measurement to be exact, 150 mils. Am I measuring? Fuck no. Because we don't measure here. Now, I'm using a whisk. I find the whisk gets everything combined together pretty well. Bit by bit. Now, once there's a bit more milk in there, things are a bit more clumpy, that's when things start going all over the shop. That's the alarm for the pasta. So what I want to do, as that's going, I'm going to turn the fire off. Add a touch more milk. Give it a mix. Now I'm going to be super quick here getting the pasta off, so I want to keep mixing this. So, but I don't want the pasta to overcook. The colander's ready in there. Come here. And as you can see, things are starting to thicken up and look really, really nice. Still a bit more milk. Here is where the special stuff comes. Now, what I like to do is add cheese. Doesn't matter what type of cheese you add whatever cheese you like. Just get it in there. This is going to add an X factor to your bechamel. I'm gonna get a couple handfuls like that. Wait till you try this creamy cheesy sauce. Now the lucky last ingredient I'm gonna add after the cheese, thickening cream. I'm using a lactose-free one. Now, I'm gonna give you a tip. Don't use all of it. Save the last bit. There's a reason behind it, we're gonna come back to it later. And you're gonna be impressed with it. So use a lot of it, save this much. All right, cream is in. Unfortunately, this looks like something else right now. Now, because I've been mixing it the whole time, I follow the appropriate steps. I'm gonna find that there is no clumps in this whatsoever. Now these clumps we're looking at here, this is cheese that's melting. This is cheese, which is what we want. I've turned the heat up just slightly, just one little bit at the end there, a bit of extra thickness. Melt the cheese properly. Now, it is a personal preference how thick you like the bechamel for this dish. It needs to be a little bit thick, and the idea is we want it to really coat this pasta, really get in there. We're stirring it through, it's starting to thicken up. We want to add salt and pepper. We must season. Now, don't mind me with this shaker, it doesn't actually dispense much, so it looks like a lot more is coming out than actually is. Salt. Get a bit of pepper, don't go too crazy with the pepper, we don't want it to darken too much. So pepper's in there. Now the magic ingredient of the evening, we said the nutmeg. Now I've got half a teaspoon here, 3/4 of a teaspoon if you've got balls, fuck, 1 full teaspoon if you've got game. Otherwise at least half to 3/4. Get that in there. Actually, upon looking at that in there, half a teaspoon to 3/4 is plenty. Give this a mix, and I promise you, the bechamel of your dreams is forming right in front of your eyes. Get a spoon. Taste it. If it tastes fucking amazing, you've done the right thing. Add nothing more. Now, this is how we're gonna put this pasta bake together. First things first is spoon in a quick layer of just the cream, just on its own. Put a little bit in there, a couple of these spoons. Give it a mix around. And the idea here is we don't want the pasta to stick to the glass. Now that we've got a nice layer at the bottom, step 1 is complete. Now what we're gonna do is step 2, a little bit of butter, and the idea is we don't want this to stick to the sides. So what I'm gonna do is just grab a little bit like this, right? Get clean hands, bit of butter, and just rub it up and down, just the edges. What I want to do is add a little bit of this straight into the pasta. We're not going to add all of it. We have to save something here no matter what, guys. Now, once it's in there, gently give it a mix. Let it cover all the bits of pasta in there as much as possible. Now, we've got a bit of sauce on there. We're going to spread these out to make the bottom layer. It's gonna be pasta only. Boys and girls, now we have a base. It's done. The next step is, I'm not gonna do it the traditional way. I always show you the over-the-top dramatic Mark's Easy Eats way. And what we're gonna do is just let everyone have fun. You know what? Get rid of this spoon. Grab this ladle, mix it all in. Yeah, just do it. Get it all in there. Make sure your bowl is big enough. And then give it a good mix. And this is why I use the kilogram of meat, because I hate getting a pasta baking. Have a couple spoons, it's only pasta, there's not enough in there. This is gonna feed your whole family, your friends, whoever's over. All right, let's shovel it in here. Let's do it. I'm not gonna do layers like the proper way is. So if they do a layer of pasta, a layer of meat, a layer of cream, nobody got time for that shit. Here, we're gonna mix it together in one hit. Every mouthful is gonna be Christmas. Every mouthful is gonna be flavorsome and delicious. Get all of that in there. Now, I've saved a whole bunch of this cream, and I'll show you why in a second. So please don't use all of it at this point, save some. very important that you do. Once that beautiful concoction is in there, just flatten it out, make it as flat as possible. That's be perfect. Now remember when we said we're gonna save some of that sauce? Here is why. The top layer, we want it to be bechamel. Just go over it. We want a spatula, something flat. Now we're just gonna slowly and gently just cover the areas that need to be covered. Just like that. I told you I saved a bit of cream, remember? And here is why. Now, there's a little bit left here that we can't get off. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna add this cream back here. And now we can get rid of that. Now, when the cream's in there, guess what? Give it a quick mix like this. Everything gets mixed up together. We come back, fill in any gaps. Just whatever you can see open, fill it up. Beautiful. Just fill it all up with the bits that are needed. Remember this cheese we had left over? I like a little bit of a crispy top. Number one, first and foremost, if there's gaps, especially around the outsides, fill them up. If there's no gaps and you've done a good job like here, keep going. Don't go crazy with the cheese. I mean, you can if you want to. I love cheese. Just a nice bit of a sprinkle on top. The oven is preset 170, 175 degrees, 40 minutes. Get it in there, center of a conventional oven. Keep checking on it. Watch the colors. Now, depends on how much guts you got. If you're gutsy, wait till it gets super crispy. All right, a bit darker, it's fine. The more the better in my eyes. All right, guys, on my clock, it's been 45 minutes. Now, I've had a look at it, and this to me looks pretty damn good. Be versatile with cooking. If after 40, 45 minutes you say, hey, guess what? It's not crispy enough for me. That's fine, leave it in there a bit longer. Who gives a shit? And if it's not crispy enough, turn the grill on or make it even more crispy. Now, once it's out here, guys, be careful. It is very hot. I'm gonna leave this for 15 minutes to stand. The idea is if you cut it up and eat it right now as much as you want to, it's just gonna be like a blob on the plate. We want that bechamel to really set. Give it 15 minutes, let it cool, let it rest. It's not gonna be ice cold, it's still gonna be quite hot when you eat it, and it's gonna be amazing. I'll see you in 15 minutes, we'll cut it together. All right, guys, it has been out of the oven for about 15 to 20 minutes. Look, to be honest, it's probably been a bit less. I just can't wait to eat. So if it comes out a bit sloppy, there's my excuse in advance. Let's cut her up and have a look. As you can see, the crispiness, the deliciousness, it's taken a lot of self-control. You can use a knife, whatever you like, just to cut through. I'm just gonna go through the center. Oh, wow. Now, thanks to the butter that we put around the outside, it shouldn't be too sticky around the edges. It should be fine just to scoop out now as it is. Let's go to corner piece. Get a bit of crisp on there. Boys and girls, what we have here is the official masterpiece. Now we've let it rest. I just want to emphasize, the longer you let it rest, the better it's going to hold up like this. Now, our favorite part of the night, we've worked so hard for this. Let's have a taste. Let's get into this. And I'm telling you, this is creamy. It has texture, it has flavor. Apart from the fact that it's still fucking hot and my mouth is on fire. It is amazing. This is fantastic meal, guys. I really hope you make this, and if you do, comment. Let me know how you went. Comment, let me know what you guys want me to make in the future, if you guys have any preferences. For now, like, subscribe. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll catch you on the next one.